Глава 34.
Chapter
Освобождение
34.
Видьядхары и расправа с демоном Śaṅkhacūḍai.
Vidyādhara liberated and the demon Śaṅkhacūḍa killed.
Однажды пастухи Vṛndāvana во главе с
Once upon a
Махараджей
time, the cowherd men of Vṛndāvana, headed by Nanda Mahārāja, desired to go to
на праздник Śiva-rātri.
Ambikāvana to observe
Rāsa-līlā проходила осенью.
Śiva-rātri ceremony. The rāsa-līlā was performed during the autumn, and after the next big
Dolāyātrā.
ceremony is Holi,
Между раса-лилой и
or the
Dolāyātrой
Dolāyātrā
еще один
ceremony.
важный
Between
обряд,
the Dolāyātrā ceremony and the
Śiva-rātri.
rāsa-līlā ceremony, there is an
Его
important
совершают
ceremony
главным образом
called Śiva-rātri,
Śaivites,
which is especially observed
поклонники
by
Господа Шивы. Иногда эту церемонию проводят
Śaivites,
и Vaiṣṇavas, поскольку
or devotees of
они
Śiva.
признают
Sometimes
Господа
the
Шиву самым
Vaiṣṇavas
великим из всех Vaiṣṇavas.
also observe this ceremony
Но
because
бхакты, преданные Кришне,
they
совершают
accept Lord Śiva as the foremost
вот почему в
Vaiṣṇava.
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam
But the
сказано, что
function of
Mahārāja
Śiva-rātri
Nanda
is not
Mahārāja
observed very regularly
однажды.
by the bhaktas or
Это
devotees of
означает, что они не
Krishna under
всегда
the
проводили
circumstances.
Śiva-rātri, но
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam
однажды всё же
states
решили отправиться
that
в
Nanda
Ambikāvana
Mahārāja and
из
the other
любопытства.
cowherd men
Ambikāvana
once upon a time desired.
находится где-то в провинции
This means that
Gujarat.
they were not regularly observing
Говорится, что
the
он
Śiva-rātri
расположен на реке
function, but
Sarasvatī.
that
Однако
once
в провинции
upon a
Gujarat
time
нет
they
реки
wanted to
Sarasvatī,
go to
но есть река, называемая
Ambikāvana
Сава.
out of curiosity.
Savarmatī.
Ambikāvana is somewhere in Gujarat Province,
Savarmatī.
and it is said to be
В Индии всё
situated
больше
on the river of Sarasvatī.
все большие
Yet we do
места
not
паломничества
find any
располагаются на берегах священных
Sarasvatī
рек
River in Gujarat
Ганги,
Province,
Yamunā,
although
Sarasvatī,
there is a river
Narmadā,
named
Godāvarī,
Sarasvatī,
Kāverī.
Savarmatī. In India, all the big places of pilgrimage
Sarasvatī и Mahārāja
are
Nanda
situated
отправился
on nice
туда
rivers
вместе с другими
like the
пастухами.
Ganges, Yamunā, Sarasvatī,
Прибыв
Narmadā,
в Ambikāvana, пастухи начали с
Godāvarī
большим
and
тщанием поклоняться Господу Шиве и
Kāverī.
Ambikē.
Ambikāvana was situated on the bank of the
По традиции, рядом с
Sarasvatī,
храмом
and Nanda Mahārāja
Господа
and all
Шивы
the other
должен
cowherd
находиться
men
храм Ambikē
went
Дурги,
there.
так как Амбика — это супруга Господа Шивы и самая почитаемая из всех.
They were
добродетельных
devotedly
женщин.
began to
Она
worship
никогда не
the
расстается с
deity
мужем. Достигнув
of Lord Śiva and
Ambikāvana,
Ambika.
пастухи
It is the
Vṛndāvana
general
прежде
practice
всего
that
омылись в водах реки
whenever there is a
Sarasvatī.
whenever there is a temple of Lord
Первая
Śiva,
обязанность паломника,
there
пришедшего
must
в
be
святое
another
место,
temple of
совершить
Ambika or
омовение.
Durga, because Ambika is the
Иногда
wife
также обрить
of
голову.
Lord Śiva and
После омовения
is the most
вṛндāvanские пастухи
exalted
стали поклоняться божествам
chaste
и
woman.
раздавать
She
пожертвования.
doesn't live outside the association of her husband. After
Вот что
reaching
делают места
Ambikāvana,
паломничества.
the cowherd men of Vṛndāvana
Омываются,
first bathed themselves in the river
поклоняются божествам и раздают
Sarasvatī.
пожертвования.
If one goes to any pilgrimage of place,
Ну и мы
his
слышим об
first
этом,
duty is
слышим
to take a bath and sometimes to shave his head. That is the first business. After taking a bath, they worship the deities and they disturb charity in the holy places. So that's what you do. You first take a bath and then
Хотя иногда появляются
you distribute the
профессиональные
charity.
жрецы, чтецы, но в этом нет необходимости.
Even though sometimes there would be
Нужно
some
делать это спонтанно,
brahmanas
как место,
reading
которое
from
привлекает нас.
scriptures, but you don't
Мы
really
хотим
need
туда
to
пойти,
do
потому
that.
что там есть божества, мы хотим поклониться божествам,
Sometimes we're
раздать
being dragged to
пожертвования,
places
святое
where the
место
deities
посвящать.
are,
Это естественно.
but we're not obliged to.
Позже, с упадком религии,
So it's
люди
natural to
перестали
be around
поддерживать религию
these holy places.
спонтанно.
And later on, with the degradation of religion,
Поэтому
people stopped
все
to
священники стали нищими,
to give
духовные
charity
стали нищими,
to all
храмы
these
стали пустыми, многие,
temples, all the
сельские
the
времена, все
monks.
храмы опустели,
And with the
там
time, we see the temples are empty.
различных вещей. Государство так использует. Их не ремонтировали, не поддерживали.
It was mostly used for
Они все
whatever
разрушались на глазах.
purposes those temples
Людям не приходило в голову, что это нужно
could
как-то
be a
поддержать.
storage or
Да,
whatever.
сейчас.
And people didn't really pay attention to
То есть не было
its
таких
condition,
отношений.
and they didn't think that it should be maintained or
А
something.
сейчас,
It means
если
there was
государство
no
хочет,
relationship.
чтобы была
And
какая-то
now,
религия
if
государственная, она будет
a
поддерживать,
state
конечно.
would
Но
like
люди
some
сами
religion
по
to be
себе
present,
недостаточно поддерживать сейчас храмы.
it
или
supports the church or
таких
temple.
отношений нет.
But people, they don't really have any relationship, any
Исключительно
deep
редкость.
relationship. It's
Но
very
здесь
rare.
говорится, что
But
паломники
here
приходили туда, потому
it is
что хотели
said that
спонтанно увидеть святое место и
some
поддержать его,
pilgrims been coming
поклониться, то есть это было
because they
желанно.
wanted to do some worship. It was their desire
Иногда или
to.
постоянно в какие-то места они ходили
Sometimes,
постоянно,
once
которые
upon a
особенно
time,
они
or
любили,
some places they
как
wanted to
преданные,
go to.
скажем, они особенно любят
Just like
Vṛndāvana,
devotees,
Śiva-rātri,
The
они
Vaiṣṇavas,
туда
they
более
want to
регулярно
go
приезжают.
to
Ну,
Jagannath
иногда они
Kapuri
однажды
and
собираются, может быть,
Vṛndāvana.
Рамешварам на юг Индии
And
увидеть
sometimes you might
храм,
see him in
вспомнить,
Rameshwaram
увидеть мост, который Рамачандра
to
строил
see,
когда-то
or some place to
через
see
океан.
the
Иногда они хотят Двараку тоже
bridge
увидеть,
that
описывается в
Lord
Бхагаватам.
Ramachandra
Это
built.
просто хотят
Or they want to
путешествовать по
go to
северу
Dwarka
Гималаев или
and
по
travel
всей Южной
across
Индии,
the northern
увидеть это
India.
разнообразие, неслыханное
There
культуры.
is a variety of
Да,
cultures there.
достаточно сравнительно небольшой участок как бы планеты. Страна не
It's
такая
a
уж большая,
little
что не с
piece
Россией.
of land there.
Не до
Comparing to
Америки,
Russia,
да, может
it's
быть, она по
pretty
размеру
relatively
скажем,
small,
как
but
Казахстан примерно. Но разнообразие там неимоверное.
the variety
Конечно, есть. Много паломников,
presented
большинство
there
паломников
is
мира едут
amazing.
туда из любопытства.
And most of
Эти Индию,
pilgrims,
экзотику, эти
they go there to
древнейшие
find it,
храмы,
looking for some exotic sites,
древнейшие, то есть на планете места какие-то, еще живые
oldest
традиции там, надеются увидеть
temples,
йогов, мистиков, которые ходят по воде,
or
в
they want to
воздухе,
see those mystics, the
всякие чудеса. Это
yogis,
любопытство просто.
walking on the water.
Но когда эти паломники, они проникаются определенным чувством, они затем хотят спонтанно, как
When
Джаганнат
these
Капури, попробовав
pilgrims
просад, уловив тот
feel some
дух
certain
настроения, они
emotion
снова и
there,
снова
they
хотят
want to feel it
приехать
again
туда,
and
только для
again,
того,
and
чтобы
they
снова
come
окунуться
in
в атмосферу
back
святого
again and
места.
again
Это уже нечто духовное
to
явление,
get into that
не туризм, конечно.
atmosphere.
Духовное явление. И такие
So it's more like a
люди, они,
spiritual
конечно,
movement
дают
then.
пожертвования, чтобы поддерживать эти
And
места.
these guys, they
Понимают
will
значение
give
мест
the
и храмов,
charity
тех пуджариев.
in order to support and maintain
Вот этот дух, он
the
очень ценен.
pujaris and the temples. And
Ну, здесь иногда пастухи приходили туда,
so
вот,
here in this
почтили
text,
Господа Шиву,
it is said
в
that
обязательном порядке,
from
но
time
они
to
знают,
time,
преданные
once
Кришны, что Шива —
in
это
a
очень
while
великая
they
личность,
would
это
come
прежде всего великий Вайшнав.
to that place for
Не просто потому,
Śiva-rātri,
что
and
он
they
может разрушить
knew
всю вселенную,
Lord Śiva is the
как началист,
topmost
они должны быть.
Vaishnava,
Они
not
верят в
because he
нем,
can
особые-
destroy the whole
особые
universe,
качества,
but they could see
их
special
отношения
qualities
с
in
Кришной
him
или Вишну
and
проповедуют
his
настолько,
relationship
Шива
with Krishna or
любит
Vishnu.
Кришну или Нараяну, или Рамачандру.
And it is said that
Так он любит его, что Рамачандра
Lord Krishna
сам
loves
поклоняется Шиве,
Lord
делает
Shiva
алтарь
so much
Шиве. Такой обмен очень редкий,
that
уникальный,
they
может
have
быть.
unique
Так,
relationship between each other.
отношения Господа Шивы и Господа Кришны. Ну, Шива медитирует на форму
Shiva is
Рамы,
always
Рамачандры.
meditating on the form of the
Когда
of the
Рамачандра был
Lord
на планете,
Ramachandra.
он поклонялся
When he
сам
was
Господу Шиве.
Present on the
Рамеш.
planet,
Рамешварам, значит,
Shiva
повелитель
was
Рамачандры.
worshipping him, and there is a place called
Кто такой
Rameshwara.
повелитель Рамачандры?
That's the
Это
place where
Шива.
Shiva was doing
Потому
his
что Господь
worshiping.
Рамачандра сам сделал Шивалингам собственными руками.
Lord Ramachandra
Ну, он
made
играл роль
Shivalingam
человека, с одной стороны,
with
с
his
другой
own
стороны, он это
hands.
делал из любви.
Of course, he was
Поэтому иногда шивиты
playing
говорят, что Шива
a
должен быть
role
выше,
of man, ordinary
чем
man,
Вишну.
but
Ведь, смотрите, Рама —
it
это
was a gesture of
Вишну-татва,
love
он
as
поклоняется
well.
Шиве, значит, Шива выше. Но Вайшнава это
And
понимает как обмен
people
любовью.
were saying, look, he is worshipping Lord
Такой
Shiva,
вопрос. То есть,
so Lord Shiva is
преданные
higher, but
Кришне
with
поклоняются
more
Шиве.
like a gesture of love. And devotees, they sometimes worship Shiva as well.
Почему? Мгм.
Oh,
не
there's
отключается интернет.
some question
Итак,
issues
Господь
with
Шива,
internet.
величайший Вайшнав во Вселенной.
So the Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaiṣṇava in the universe, and he is one of the Mahājans.
Сампрадая, духовная линия.
He has his own Sampradaya, the spiritual
4 сампрадаи, также от Шивы, одна из 4 сампрадай. У нас сампрадая от Брамы,
succession.
есть от Шивы, от Кумаров и есть от богини
There are
Лакшми.
4 Sampradayas.
4
One comes from Lakshmi, one
линии.
comes
В этих
from
4 линиях
Kumars,
мы можем
another
обрести
comes from Lord
совершенство
Śiva
духовных знаний, больше нигде. Больше нигде.
and
Спроси, а
Brahma.
как же другие
And then
религии, вот эти сампрадаи
some
нет,
knowledge
это
could
всё
be
отражение
only
того же самого.
taken from certain Sampradayas.
Строго говоря, существует одна линия.
Frankly speaking, there is only one line of
О
disciple
вселенском
succession
знании, то вселенское
when we
знание
are talking
одно.
about universal knowledge.
А как это, скажем, на планетах?
But
исторически
regarding
проявляется,
how
это
it was
сложный вопрос,
revealed
правда.
on the planets,
Почему? Потому что
it's a difficult
время от
question,
времени религия
because
должна
from
быть
time to
скрыта.
time religion
Yada hi dharmasya glanir.
has to be hidden.
Это упадок,
Yada
либо
yada hi
скрытое,
dharmasya glanir.
не открывается.
So there is certain
Тогда как будто бы возникают
decline
новые формы религии. Ничего не возникает, но так кажется.
of degradation of religion.
Как, например,
And
нравственность.
it seems
Можно сказать, что
as
у Бога
there
нет, но
is
есть нравственность, как бы новая.
no religion at that moment.
В религии есть нравственность.
But
Не
we
какая-то
could
новая религия, это часть.
we see
остальное
that there is a
скрыто.
morality still. So morality
Также мы видим, что во всех
is
религиях,
religion.
явленных
hidden
современным
religion.
людям, если мы не говорим о сампрадаях,
And when we
часть
are
знания
not
открыта,
talking about
часть скрыта.
sampradayas, we see that
Но вселенское
in
знание Боги,
different parts
полное
of the
знание
world,
Боги,
some
открывается,
knowledge
оно
is
открыто,
revealed and
явлено,
some knowledge is hidden.
проявленное должно быть. Проявляется время от времени, иногда в упадок, иногда проявляется. Вот так оно как бы балансирует. И когда приходит
So it's
упадок,
more
то
like
какая-то
a
религия остается, но
balancing.
в скрытой форме.
And
Сравнивается
when there is a
огонь,
time
может
of
быть, в скрытой
degradation,
форме или в явной
some
форме.
part of the
Он
religion
всегда есть.
has
Без
to be
огня не может
hidden,
быть какой-то жизни.
just like the fire
В
that
скрытой
is
форме
hidden
или
in
проявленной
wood.
форме. В скрытой форме он не видим, не ощущаем. Мы не видим огня, мы видим
We cannot
просто
see the
древесину.
fire when it's hidden. We
Мы
just see
понятия не имеем об огне.
just
Мы
wooden
просто знаем, что
blocks,
там огонь был, верим,
wood,
что там
and
Бог
we
есть,
only
но
can
не видим.
believe that.
Нет,
there
он не
is fire.
проявлен. Но когда зажигается огонь, то уже
But
вдруг мы
when
не
the
видим
fire
огонь.
starts, we don't see any
А как он там находится?
woods.
Мы не
We
знаем.
only see the fire.
То есть вот
And we
есть
don't know
скрытые
how
формы,
it is
проявленные,
kept,
непроявленные формы,
how it is
поэтому
being kept
разные
in
религии
the wood.
появляются в разные времена, кроме
But
санатана-дхармы.
we just accept
Санатана-дхарма
it.
никогда не появляется, никогда не
Sanatan
исчезает,
Dharma
меняет свои
is
формы.
never been revealed
Поэтому
or
каждый иногда
disappeared.
уходит, иногда приходит.
It's always there.
Но тот, кто уже обрел духовные знания, видит, что солнце не приходит
Those
и не
who
уходит.
have the
То
spiritual
проявлено, то
knowledge,
не проявлено, то проявлено.
they know that the sun doesn't go anywhere.
Нет перемен на самом
And
солнце.
sometimes the sun might be here, sometimes might not, but it's still there.
Очень важно понимать
So it
это
is
значение,
important to
скажем,
understand
Господь
the
Шива, он может
knowledge,
дать
the
религию
meaning
демонам,
of the religion. Like the Lord can bring
а может
the
начать
religion
сампрадаю.
even to demons, or he can
Vaiṣṇava.
start a
А
sampradaya,
демонов он
because
скрывает какие-то духовные вещи.
and some of the
А как
knowledge
преданный открывает всё
is
кому-то
being
открывает,
hidden
кого-то
from
скрывает.
demons, and
Если
some part
большинство
of the
людей
knowledge
становятся
could be
атеистичными,
revealed.
религия скрывается. Если большинство людей
If
стремится
the majority
развить
of
духовное знание
population
сейчас на земле, сейчас
reluctant
больше людей
to
стремятся
cultivate the
развить
spiritual
духовное
knowledge,
знание,
some of
значит,
the
будут открываться эти
some part of
тайны.
the religion might be hidden, and
Это
vice
зависит
versa.
именно от стремления и желания
It depends
самого человека
on the
или
goals
человечества.
of
То есть
the
наша задача
humanity.
пробудить это стремление в людях как
And
можно
our
шире,
goal
больше.
is
Кто
to
сколько может из нас делать?
spread
Расскажите,
this knowledge
скольких людей вы можете
the
охватить
wider we can.
в жизни, в своей жизни.
How many
Скольким
people we
людям
can
расскажете о
spread the
Кришне, о
knowledge
святом
to?
имени? Вот это
in
наша
our
задача,
lifetime.
чтобы это знание как-то
That's-
люди соприкоснулись, и у них появилось
that's our goal.
какое-то желание познать, что это такое.
So when the people
Чудесные вещи
have
описываются
this
в этих
desire
книгах.
to learn
И
this-
очень глубокая
this
философия
knowledge.
непостижимая, невероятная.
We have all these books and scriptures telling us about all the aspects of Krishna, about his avatars, and we get the info about souls and karma and reincarnation. So much of jnana here, so people, they're gonna be naturally inclined to look for it and study it. And if you learn about karma, then the next step would be you learn about reincarnation, and then it takes some time in order it to be accepted. Now, not so many people gonna say that they're gonna argue that there is reincarnation, that it exists. But in order to get the knowledge, we need to have some mediator, because we're not controlling this knowledge. And thanks by Super Soul, we could be led to this point. And you might not get it in your lifetime, but in order, you might get it by getting a new body, a new life, and it's more like your search is ongoing. So you might take birth in different region and get some new samskaras. And it is not easy for people to accept Krishna consciousness. They would say, oh, it's Hindu, it's Indian culture, and I cannot accept it with its clothes, Indian clothes and stuff. And then, with the time, they studied, and it brings them to... They see Krishna standing there wearing dhoti. So you just need to get new birth, and then it would be your inborn ability to accept Krishna the way he is, accept the Lord the way he is. Usually that's what we have. There might be some exceptions, but we are hoping to get birth at the place where Krishna is revealing his Leelas. It doesn't matter how many times we're born. In fact, it doesn't matter where we would be born, but it's important to be with Krishna. And second initiation is very important. Second birth is very important when we get this initiation from the spiritual master. Once a disciple of Prabhupada said, in his house he would have Prabhupada everywhere. He was quoting from Prabhupada to his mother, posters on the wall, books by Prabhupada, and the parents, in the end they said, your true father is Prabhupada, and he was happy. Sometimes you have to hide your parents from someone because you're ashamed of them. But we just carry this knowledge, and it doesn't matter what family brought us to this world. So when you meet a spiritual guru and take an association, you become a devotee. So you can be reborn by diksha. And Lord Chaitanya was telling that you need to spread this knowledge to everyone, Mlechas, Rakshasas, Yavanas, who cares? Anyone who accepts it, you need to spread it to him. Lord Śiva is always in touch with Tamaguna, but he is a superior devotee. There is an understanding that Shiva is the one who is smoking ganja, marijuana, and he's more like hippie. Hippies, they inclined to this culture. It's more like outside culture. It seems like Lord Shiva is like that, but he is always in meditation on the Lord. If anyone is capable of it, of smoking marijuana, just formally, but worshiping the Lord all the time inside, then you need to admit that you won't be able to drink the poison, just like Lord Shiva did, if you want to follow his steps. When there was a churning of the milk ocean, and a lot of poison started to come out, they invited Lord Shiva to drink that poison, and he did. And he drank the poison, a certain amount of poison he drank, and his neck turned blue. Everybody could see that. He could see that was his position, because some of the Prajapatis, like Daksha, they were not recognizing Lord Shiva. Daksha was angry with Lord Shiva, and that he had to give him his daughter, and he lost his head in the end. It's hard to perceive his position, really. He's not an unusual god, demigod. So when the devotees, they see Lord Shiva's temples, they offer their obeisances. They say, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, and it says in the Brihad-bhagavatamrita, Lord Shiva was glorified there after Lord Brahma, and Narada Muni is there saying, I found another great superior Vaiṣṇava. Talking about demigods, it's hard to understand. Everybody is called a demigod. Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, all the demigods. But if you look at it from the point of view of Vaiṣṇava, then you can find Shiva's place. And Narada Muni, he started from an ordinary Vaiṣṇava, and he was like trying to get higher and higher by the recommendations of the previous. And he started from the king, and the king said, I am just a man who rules this earth, this land, but you need to go higher than me. And he is like, pay attention to Indra. He lives beyond this land, beyond this planet, and he's taking a part in Krishna's Leelas. So Narada was like, oh, Indra is a Vaiṣṇava. I need to glorify him then. And he went there. And Indra, immediately he started to feel ashamed when Narada Muni started to glorify him as a Vaiṣṇava, and he was like, please don't glorify me, because I was trying to bring rains onto Vṛndāvana to kill all his inhabitants. I'm more like a demon because of that. If you want to see a real Vaiṣṇava, you need to go to Lord Brahma. And Narada is like, oh yes, I am the son of Brahma, so I can glorify him, of course. And Brahma was like, no, if you look in the real Vaiṣṇava, there is no such a person in the material world, so pure Vaiṣṇava. I also have some defects. There should be, he should have pure heart. Sometimes I give my blessings to demons. Sometimes I act in this world as an materialist, and I would steal calves and cowherd boys sometimes from Kṛṣṇa. I will tell you where to put your attention to. Pay your attention to Lord Śiva. He is the only Vaiṣṇava. There are no such Vaiṣṇavas anywhere who would have such an association without getting his attention anywhere else. So, and Narada, he's starting to forget that they are brothers. He goes and approached Lord Śiva in order to glorify him as a Vaiṣṇava. And Śiva is like, no. I'm always in touch with the Tamagun, and I'm spreading this Mayavada. I act like a Vaiṣṇava, so please don't count on me. And he's putting him down on earth, saying there are some Vaiṣṇavas who are not revealed, maybe. Pay your attention to Bali, the king of demons. He's always thinking about the Lord. Smaranam, the process of bhakti, smaranam, is his main meditation, his main worshipping process. Every day he's in that state. It's an overwhelming state. He's never thinking about anything else. So I worship him. I could not approach Nrisimhadev. Lord Brahma, he didn't even try. Everybody was looking at me, but I didn't go. So I'm not a devotee. Prahlād Mahārāja went there and he did that. Not Bali Maharaj, Prahlād Mahārāja. And Narada Muni is going there and praising Prahlād Mahārāja. But he's saying, yes, I always remember him. I always think of him. He's my Lord. But you need to understand that he's not next to me. He's not next to me. Take a look at Hanuman. He's always with Ramachandra. That is the devotee. He's always associating with the Lord, Rama. And Narada Muni is like, I know all of them, but now I see these levels of Vaiṣṇavas and all these Vaiṣṇavas. We covered all this path and we came back to the king of the demons. No bodily concepts. And he starts to praise Hanuman. He's like, you're the greatest devotee of Lord Ram, you never... you never been taken away from him. And Hanuman is like, yes, I'm very attached to Lord Rama, but I follow him, and when I go somewhere, the Lord doesn't follow me. But you need to pay attention to Pandavas. They are always engaged in this ruling of their kingdom, etc., etc. But the Lord comes to their place and he's like, "Hi, what's up? Tell me what are you doing? I might even help you." And Narada was shocked. It's when we observe the Vaiṣṇava Sampradaya and see the parampara, and parampara might go through some unknown people. Some of the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, they wanted to be unknown, and he is glorifying Pandavas. And Pandavas are saying, Narada, wait, you are the object of our worship. Why are you singing these songs to us? We are just the kings. We got stuck in this politics. We will point to you the real devotees. You need to go to Dwarka, because Krishna, he comes here, but he lives in Dwarka. Pay attention to his city, Dwarka. That's the place of his real devotees. He took them all from Mathura to Dwarka, literally on his hands. And Narada thought, oh really? Yadavas? Those kings. And he went to Dwarka and he started to sing and praise them. And they say, no, we are full of problems here. We have a lot of problems. Like we've been arguing about stones, Yamantaka. You need to go and see the Uddhava. He is the closest devotee. He is the closest friend of the Lord. He can come anytime, day and night to Krishna. He looks like Krishna. He is wearing the same garland from Krishna. And he is the disciple of Brihaspati, the guru of demigods. And Narada thought, yes, absolutely, you're correct. And he started to praise Uddhava, and Uddhava started to cry. And he said, I used to think so, because Krishna told me so. He said that you are my closest friend, and I believed that. I'm scholar, and I believe this nonsense. If you're looking for some devotees, I'll give you this science. You know not everything. Have you been to Goloka Vṛndāvana? There are some devotees who don't even see the Lord in the Lord. And he started to tell him the story of that story about this relationship. So here is the line. Everybody's pointing on the one who is higher than him. If we want to become a devotee, we need to learn this science. Always pointing on the one who is higher. That is Guru Tattva. Everybody of them belong to Guru Tattva. Because no matter which direction they are pointing to, you will get to Kṛṣṇa. Maybe some of them considered themselves not to be so perfect, but they all point into Kṛṣṇa. So the result would be the same. It's the culture of Vaiṣṇavas. Perfect culture of Vaiṣṇavas. So when Narada is studying this geography, this line, he is praising everyone. He is not diminishing the role of them. He is always glorifying every one of them. In the end, he gets to Vṛndāvana. He's covering all this path, and he comes to Vṛndāvana with his mind state that Uddhava was describing. So Shiva, we need to see Shiva as the supreme devotee. According to the Vedic system, charity is given to Brahmanas. It is stated in the Vedic Shastras that only the Brahmanas and the sannyasis can accept charity. The cowherd men from Vṛndāvana have the Brahmanas' cows decorated with golden ornaments and beautiful garlands. The Brahmanas are given charity because they are not engaged in any business profession. They are supposed to be engaged in Brahminical occupations as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Namely, they must be very learned and must perform austerity and penances. If you read from Srila Prabhupada's books, you will not get paid. But Vedic culture is, if you see a Brahmana reading from the scriptures, Shastras, it is natural for a person to approach and give the charity. And you would have, that way, you enlighten your life. You support Kṛṣṇa, you support those who read from the scriptures. Of course, the professional readers, they spoil the whole thing. We know that. But originally, the Vedic culture was very important. And it's a very auspicious activity to give charities to such people. So Brahmanas are like children, they always learn. And children are being maintained so they could study. So austerity is not only when you study the scripture. If someone is not doing austerity, but he is reading from somewhere, you should not give any charity. Not only must they themselves be learned, but they must also teach others. Brahmanas are not meant to be Brahmanas alone. They should create another Brahmanas also. If a man is found who agrees to become a Brahmana's disciple, he is also given the chance to become a Brahmana. The Brahmana is always engaged in worship of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, the Brahmanas are eligible to accept all kinds of charity. But if the Brahmanas receive excess charity, they are to distribute it for the service of Vishnu. In the Vedic scriptures, therefore, one is recommended to give charity to the Brahmanas, and by so doing, one pleases Lord Vishnu and all the demigods. Of course, sometimes they would give the whole village to a Brahmana. And what do you think they do with it? Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to have a village of his own.
Паломники, которые проходят через его
And
место,
what
имеют
he
право так
did,
бесплатно останавливаться,
he
принимать пищу, ночевать.
he was hosting all the
Бесплатно
pilgrims
паломникам.
passing
Вот это
that
правда.
village. They could
У
stay
него
there
там
for
был
free,
управляющий
all the pilgrims.
человек.
So
который
he had a
платил денег,
person
кто-то управлял этой деревней, так
running a
сказать,
village,
И есть письмо, сохранившееся
and
в
there is a
Бхактивinoда Тхакура,
letter
который пишет там, что я
saying
слышал, что ты не очень
that I've heard
доброжелательно отнесся к
that you were
паломникам,
not
которые проходили через мою
kind
деревню.
enough to the pilgrims passing your
Если
village.
еще раз такое
If you
повторится,
do it
ты лишишься
again,
этой работы.
you're gonna lose your job.
Вот это Брахман.
That is Brahman.
Я кто думаю, да, Брахман, не Брахман, пусть платит.
And sometimes might think, who cares if he's Brahman or not?
Ты лишишься работы.
Let him pay.
Брахманы должны знать свою роль.
But he said, no, you will lose your job. You need to know your work, what you
Не
need
до
to
сих
do.
пор, если кто-то принимает
It is still like that in India, that if Brahmana is visiting your place, or some pure person visiting your place, everybody would like to have him in their house. They offer a garland, try to do everything. But in age of Kali, there are so many rascals out there, pretenders. Just like Prabhupada's father, he was inviting so many sadhus to his house, but they were not sadhus. Most of them were not sadhus. But when Prabhupada saw a real sadhu, he gave all his life to him. The pilgrims take a bath, worship the deity, and give charity. They are also recommended to fast one day. They should go to a place of pilgrims and stay there for at least 3 days. The first day is spent fasting, and at night they can drink a little water, because water does not break the fast. In Mayapur, we are not following this. Modern pilgrims, they don't follow this rule. But these are the rules. The cowherd men, headed by Nanda Mahārāja, spent the night on the bank of Sarasvatī. They fasted all day and drank a little water at night. But while they were taking rest, a great serpent from the nearby forest appeared before them and hungrily began to swallow up Nanda Mahārāja. He found Nanda Mahārāja started to swallow. It's funny, he's so stupid. There are such forms of life. This is the world we are living in. I am the supreme Vaiṣṇava, and the mosquito comes and he bites me. Trinatapi Sunichana. I'm not this body. It is always, everything is reminding me of this. Everything is auspicious for Vaishnava. What is auspicious in this for Nanda Mahārāja? We don't know. Nanda cried out helplessly, "My dear son Kṛṣṇa, please come and save me from this danger. The serpent is swallowing me." When Nanda Mahārāja cried for help, all the cowherd men got up and saw what was happening. From one point, Nanda Mahārāja is not believing that Kṛṣṇa is, he could help him. But when it's very dangerous, he's more inclined to see the Lord in him. They immediately took up burning logs and began to beat the snake to kill it. But in spite of being beaten with burning logs, the serpent was not about to give up swallowing Nanda Mahārāja. Look, he was beaten with those burning logs, but he wouldn't let Nanda Mahārāja go. This is the material nature. At that time, Kṛṣṇa appeared on the scene and touched the serpent with his lotus feet. Immediately upon being touched by the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, the serpent shed its reptilian body and appeared at a very beautiful demigod, named Vidyādhara. His bodily features were so beautiful that he appeared to be worshipable. There was a luster and effulgence emanating from his body, and he was garlanded with gold necklace. So you should not swallow the food all the time.
Тогда
You need
Кришна
to
спросил: «О,
praise
прекрасный полубог,
the Vaiṣṇavas.
похоже, что к тебе благоволит богиня процветания. Какие грехи
So
ты
Krishna,
совершил,
he
чтоб
asked the
получил
demigod,
тело
you
змея?»
appear to be a very nice
В ответ
demigod
полубог поведал
and
ему
to be
историю
favored
своей
by
предыдущей
goddess
жизни.
of fortune.
История
How is it
замечательная.
that you performed
После
such
будете плакать.
abominable
Даже
activities
потеряли
that you
сознание
got
от
the body of serpent? The demigod then began to narrate the
Ну, самый
story
крепкий,
of
конечно,
his
выдержит.
previous life.
«О, Господь, — сказал он, — в
This
прошлой
story
жизни
is
я носил имя
tremendous.
Vidyādhara».
My dear Lord, he said, in my previous life I was named Vidyādhara.
Санскрита.
What does it mean
Dhara
from
означает
Sanskrit?
держать.
Dhara means to hold something, and it means
Всезнание
the
был.
one who holds the knowledge, all
И
the knowledge,
славился во всем мире своей красотой.
and was known all over the
Упиваясь
world for my
славой.
beauty.
Я
Because I
путешествовал
was
повсюду на
a
воздушном
celebrated
корабле.
personality, I used to travel all
Во время
over
этих
the
странствий
airplane.
Я встретил однажды
In my
великого
airplane,
мудреца по
while
имени
traveling, I
Ангира.
saw a great sage named
Он был
Angira.
очень уродлив.
He was very ugly,
И я, гордый
And I
своей
began-
красотой, посмеялся над ним.
and because I was very proud of my beauty, I laughed at him.
Ученость, красота,
Due to,
воздушный корабль.
you
Вы все видите
you're
сверху,
beautiful,
с высоты своей красоты. и
you're a
знания.
scholar, you have your own airplane, and
Если у вас есть
you're-
знания и красота, вам нужно возвышение обязательно.
if you have a beauty and knowledge,
А мы посмотрели сверху вниз на все.
you need to have some
Это так всегда. Человек имеет
humility.
знания, его выше сажают, там слушают, ну, он привыкает к этому положению.
And because you get used to
И вот это
all this
случилось.
glorification, and you lose
Не
your head.
шутка ли, он был очень
That's
красивый,
what
очень
happened to
ученый.
Vidyādhara.
Вот здесь говорится, вызывает благоговение один вид.
He was worshipable. By his
И вот он
look, he was so
посмеялся над
stunning.
Ангирой.
So
За
he
этот грех
laughed at
великий
Angira.
мудрец предал меня проклятию.
I was
греха
very proud of
преступления.
my beauty, and I laughed at
Мы
him.
только что
Due
говорили
to
о
this
вайшнавской
sinful act,
иерархии.
I was
Зависит
condemned
от тела.
by the great sage to
Вот
assume the form of the serpent.
Уродливый вайшнав, например.
An ugly Vaishnava.
И гордому человеку в голову приходит, какой же он мудрец, у него плохая
There's
карма.
an ugly Vaishnava, and
Телесная.
a proud person, he might think,
И он
judging from
может
his
пренебрежительно к этому
the
относиться.
body
Вот
of
тут
that
так
person,
случилось.
he would think
Ошибка случилась.
he has a bad
А
karma.
там было скрыто могущество более великое,
But there was power
чем у Видятхары.
revealed, hidden in that ugly form.
Махараджа Рахугана не узнал Джадубхарату.
Just like Maharaja
Тоже по телесному.
Raghunaga, he did not recognize
ударил
Jadabharata. And he even,
Здесь следует сказать, что живое
hit
существо как бы
him.
высоко
one should note here
не
that before
вознесла
being
его
favored
судьба,
by
не
Krishna,
может
a person
выйти
is
из-под
always under the
власти
modes of material
материальной природы,
nature.
пока не
However,
заслужит благосклонности Кришны.
Elevated, he may be
Видятхара был
materially.
очень красив,
Vidyādhara was materially elevated demigod, and he was very beautiful.
высоким,
He
настолько, что он
also
мог,
held a
повсюду
great
летать
material
на своем
position and
воздушном
was able to
корабле.
travel all over.
но из-за
by
проклятия
airplane.
он в следующей жизни стал змеем.
Yet he was condemned to
Высокое
become
положение
a
в
serpent in his
материальном
next
мире не
life.
может уберечь
Any
человека
materially
от
elevated
падения в
person
низшие формы жизни.
can be condemned
Если
on
он действует
to
недостаточно
an
осторожно,
abominable
не следует думать, что, получив
species
однажды
of
тело
life
человека,
if he is
живое
not
существо больше
careful.
не может низвергнуться.
It is a misconception that after
По
reaching the
свидетельству
human
самого
body,
Видятхары,
one
он
is
был
never degraded.
обречен стать змеем,
Vidyādhara himself
хотя
started
принадлежал
that
числу полубогов.
even though he was a
Но когда
demigod,
Кришна
he was
коснулся
condemned
его
to become a
своими
serpent.
лотосными стопами,
But because he was
Видятхара тут
touched
же
by
обрел
the lotus
сознание
feet of
Кришны.
Krishna, he immediately
Однако
came
он
to
признал,
Krishna
что
consciousness.
в своей
He admitted,
предыдущей
however,
жизни действительно был
that
грешен.
in his previous life he was
Человек, обладающий
actually
сознанием
sinful.
Кришны, всегда
A
считает
Krishna
себя
conscious
слугой
person
слуги
knows
Кришны.
that he is always a serpent depend on the servant of Krishna, of the servant of Krishna. He's most insignificant, and whatever good he does is by the grace of Krishna and the spiritual master. There were so many ancestors and spiritual masters and initiated Vaiṣṇavas before us. So many. So we are the servants of all of them. Not because we're a new generation and we are the topmost Vaiṣṇavas now, where everyone else, they're gone. So this is the material conception. Vaiṣṇava never die. All the instructions that we get from Śrīla Prabhupada in his books, it is a summarized knowledge from the previous acharyas, from the previous Vaiṣṇavas, perfectly conveying the knowledge from Krishna. Some of them might be unknown, but we should know that we are the servants of the servants of the servants. The demigod Vidyādhara continued to speak to Sri Krishna, because I was very proud of the exquisite beauty of my body. He said, I derided the ugly features of the great sage Angira. He cursed me for my sin, and I became a snake. Now I consider that this curse by the sage was not at all a curse. It was a great benediction for me. Had he not cursed me, I would not have assumed the body of serpent and would not have been kicked by your lotus feet and thus freed from all material contamination. So he had all these possessions, and he had, I guess, his wives and his friends there. And now he's fallen and he's getting this snake body. Everybody knew that, and everybody was upset, I believe. But happily, we see that he's going to go back, to take his position back. In the material existence, 4 things are very valuable: to be born in a decent family, to be very rich, and to be learned, and to be very beautiful. These are considered to be material assets. Unfortunately, without Krishna consciousness, these material assets sometimes become sources of sin and degradation. Despite Vidyādhara's being a demigod and having a beautiful body, he was condemned to the body of a snake due to pride. Therefore, from this incident, we can learn that those who are too proud of their material assets, or who are inimical towards others, degrade to the bodies of snake. A snake is considered to be the most cruel and envious living entity, but those who are human beings and are envious of others are considered to be even worse. Yeah, it's true that really one should be cursed if he is acting like that. To be a snake is more like a benediction for such people, because snakes is not so harmful as to be the envious person. Any analytics can tell you what is going on this planet. So many bad things are done by people. They just say good things, but they do it very, very bad things. Prabhupada was hoping to get more saints in this world. We need at least 2% in this world, to have some changes.
Вот эта история еще
This
будет
is the story,
продолжаться. Тут мы
and
закончим.
it's not. It is going to be continued later. But we're gonna stop here. Are there any questions? Lord Shiva was saying that he is remembering Krishna, but it's only in his mind. And Hanuman was always next to the Lord. And Gopi, in separation, they always remembered Krishna.
Это более подробно написано в Брихад
What is the
Бхагаватамрите.
difference? In Vṛndāvana, they give more details.
Господь
The
Шива,
difference is
несомненно,
in
он также владеет смараном,
activity.
понятное дело.
Lord Shiva
Prahlāda
is
Mahārāja.
engaged in Smaradam, of course, as the Prahlāda
Но
Mahārāja.
Господь Шива упрекает себя в
But
том,
Lord
что он
Shiva
распространяет векали Майяваду.
is saying that he
Дает
spread in
благословение демонам.
Mayavada and give his
Плохие вещи.
benedictions to
Должен это делать. Поэтому он себя не может
demons.
причислить к Вайшнавам.
So he cannot
Сам
say
себя
that
упрекает.
he's a real
Какой же я
Vaishnava.
Вайшнав? Говорит, я даже вот, вид у меня не вайшнавский, я распространяю
He's
Майяваду.
saying,
Это самое
My look is not a
отвратительная
Vaishnava
ядовитая
look, and I'm
философия.
spreading
Это
Mayavada. This is the poisonous
именно
philosophy.
я начало этой философии.
I am the source of this
Шуньявада
philosophy.
или Майявада.
Shunyavada or Mayavada.
От Господа Шивы исходит.
It comes from Lord Shiva.
Позволяет людям деградировать благодаря этой философии.
It
Поэтому там
allows
взвешиваются
people to
разные вещи.
degrade thanks to this philosophy.
Мы считаем, что разницы
So
нет,
this is a
как вы
different
говорите, с духовной
judgment.
точки зрения.
And from a
То есть
spiritual
они
perspective,
все находятся в состоянии смараном,
for
в
us,
преданном
they are
служении.
all
Но они
engaged
взвешивают
in
сами
pure-
свои
in a
поступки, и они вот себя
pure
так
devotional
чувствуют.
service, but they, this is how they consider this activity. If my job doesn't allow to visit the temple very often, but I do the
Нет,
charity,
конечно, это преданное служение.
is it
Это что-то другое.
considered to be a devotional
Поддерживаете храм,
service? Yes,
заработанными
absolutely,
деньгами,
because you're
которые вы сами
supporting
зарабатываете.
the temple with the money you
Называется тьяга.
earned. It's called
Это выше
tyaga.
даже отречения ценится.
It's higher
Формального отречения.
than
от работы, допустим. Отречься от работы
renunciation.
или,
Like if you stop
жертвовать
working,
заработанные деньги.
or if you
на
do
работу.
work
Это
and
не считается тьяга.
bring your
Ладно,
money
чем
in order to maintain a temple, this is higher than that.
Человек может отречься от
A
работы,
person could
но
be
отречься от плодов работы труднее.
renounced from work,
Yeah.
but it's hard to be renounced from the fruits of your work. Is there only one Shiva? And a question: is he beyond this material
Да, что-то в
creation?
этом духе.
Yeah, it's something like that.
О Шиве очень сложно говорить.
It's hard to talk
Это не
about
Jiva
Shiva.
Tattva.
He is not
Ну,
Jiva
не
Tattva.
Вишну Татва.
He is not Vishnu Tattva.
Это очень сложный вопрос.
It's very difficult topic.
Положение Господа Шивы понять, я
The
думаю,
position of Lord Shiva,
невозможно.
it's almost
Есть
impossible.
изначальный Шива, так мы слышим.
There
В
is an
духовном мире
or-
Сада Шива.
there is Sada
Нет
Shiva,
формы
original
Нараяны.
Shiva, and he has the form of
В реальном мире
Narayan.
он проявляется
In the
как вот
material
Шива,
world,
известный на Кайлаше.
He's been revealed as Shiva
И
on the Kailash
11 рудр.
with
его подчинение,
11
экспансии
Rudras,
Шивы.
the
И
expansions
это
of
не все,
Shiva.
что мы сейчас вспомнили о Господе
And these
Шиве.
are
Я не
not
думаю, что
all
можно как-то его
we could
описать подробно.
Tell about
Вот
Shiva.
что-то мы знаем.
We
Он
could tell about Shiva.
контролирует гуну невежества, что он
We know he
управляет
is
Вселенной.
controlling the guna,
Как он все это делает?
the
и
tamaguna,
сложная вещь.
but the way how he
Как
does
он
it,
остается в сознании
it's
Кришны
very
при этом,
difficult.
при том, что он соприкасается
How
с
he
такой
could
природой непосредственно, это сложный вопрос.
Remain Vaishnava, it's a very difficult topic.
Поэтому да, в каждой вселенной
So
есть
yes,
Брахма-лока,
every
есть Господь
universe
Шива,
has
есть
Brahmaloka,
Кайлаш.
and there's
Все
Kailash
вселенные устроены
and Lord Shiva,
идентично,
and all the universes are more or less identical
но масштабы могут
by
быть
the
разными.
same
Мы
principle,
знаем
but
примеров
it might be different in space.
гигантские
taken.
вселенные,
Some
где Брахмы
universes are
очень много
giant, and Brahmas would have a lot of
голов.
heads,
Шива, он
but Lord Shiva,
пятиликий, я не помню, это Хануман
he
пятиликий.
Shiva
тоже
has
имеет различные формы.
different
Он
forms.
белого цвета,
I don't remember if it's Hanuman or
Темного
Shiva that
цвета.
has 5 faces, but Lord
то
Shiva
есть
has
у Шивы
different
много образов тоже.
skin colors. He has many.
То есть подробно я не смогу рассказать о нем.
I cannot give you the details really. You said morality is a hidden religion.
Да. Это часть религии. Нужно знать, что все вот эти ценности — это часть
We need to know that
великой религиозной системы.
his culture is also a hidden religion.
Остальная часть, большая,
Yes, we
скрытая.
need to understand that these are all like
Упадок
parts
означает, что
and
этим
pieces
пользоваться
of
люди не могут.
religion.
Нет необходимости
Most of
скрывать.
it
Не смогут воспользоваться.
is not revealed.
Например, Бхагавад-гита, когда ее открыли,
Just like Bhagavad Gita,
западном
when it
мире,
was revealed for
пользы
the
не принесло.
Western country, it brought nothing good.
Да, Бхагавад-гита до Шрилы Прабхупады. Потому что
Before Srila
именно на
Prabhupada,
основе Бхагавад-гиты люди стали измышлять,
people are starting
стали
to do
умственные свои
some
спекуляции,
mental
интерпретации
speculations,
выдавать за какую-то истину,
put
создавать
in,
новые учения.
they started
Что-то
to
происходит,
speculate,
да, какая-то
making
часть религии. И люди к
some
этому не
dangerous
готовы.
thoughts of their own.
Они портятся. Человек все испортит, поэтому
So
приходится
people,
упадок.
they spoil it, and
Поэтому
religion
иногда говорят, какая религия, да,
degradate.
они все атеисты. Ну, хотя бы нравственность должна быть какая-то культура.
When we're talking about religion,
Такие
most
остатки,
of
да,
people are
со стола,
atheists,
крошки со
but
стола.
there should be some morality among
Рассыпались.
this
Это от религии.
society.
Остатки.
So it's more like a remnants of food on the
Шива
table.
отвечает за разрушение, Брахма за развитие. Шива могущественнее Брамы. Получается, разрушать труднее, чем
Shiva is a destroyer and Brahma is a creator. So Shiva is more is
Рассматривать на одном
superior.
уровне с точки зрения как бы
No, why are you
обязанностей.
asking this?
По татвам они
They're
разные.
equal. They are
Brahma
different
Shiva
in
tattva,
tattvas. Brahma is
Shiva
Shiva tattva
tattva,
and Shiva is Shiva
и Vishnu
tattva
Vishnu tattva.
and Vishnu is Vishnu
Все
tattva.
трое, видите?
All three of
Но
them.
татвы разные.
Different
Самый это
tattvas.
Вишну, потом Шива, и потом Брахма.
Vishnu is the most powerful,
Но
then
согласно обязанностям, да,
Shiva, then
управления,
Brahma. But
своего
according
долга
to
по отношению
their
к Вселенной, их на равном уровне,
duties, they're equal.
на одном уровне.
Ядурани. Стоит ли нам определять, является преданный членом ятры или нет, и каковы критерии определения?
What are the criteria to understand who is the part of yatra and who is not? Yeah, we do need to have the criteria to make these judgments. It used to be the komsomol. If you're paying, you're a komsomol member. Because all the education in school was the komsomol education. The morality in my times was not very high, and it was a formal thing. How do you recognize one a part of yatra? If Jiva is situated on the border, sometimes it is a devotee, sometimes it is not a devotee. We're talking about the devotees. They are not stable when they just the beginners. How do you judge them as a part of by the 16 rounds and 4 principles? Maybe, but there are so many people who do not follow the principles, but they do a lot for the yatras. Be careful with these judgments so far. So you are not making the bureaucracy apparat, bureaucracy system. So far, it is not there to make such criteria for yatras. Who is a devotee, who is not a devotee, who is half a devotee, who is a quarter of a devotee, who is the super devotee. It's a horrible thing. There might be a caste system, and some would just do the service to get higher, elevated, more promoted. Guru Maharaj, when we chant the japa rounds, and we're like turning ourselves, and what is there to get out? Is it like qualities or something? Our own mind poisoning us.
отделяются. Ну, ты говоришь, пахтание.
You mentioned churning. So when you churning, you separate the poison from good qualities. If it's all mixed, we don't pay attention to it. But if you churn it and you separate it, then the poison is stronger. It's like a separator. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And you start to separate these things. We see all the demonic qualities in ourselves. And we need to choose from non-demonic qualities. Bingo! That's what we choose. You're correct. You thought something else, maybe? I don't know. It's so difficult. No, it's not difficult. It's a pity to lose a part of you. That's what is going on. If you get rid of your false pride, you might get rid of your also enthusiasm, false enthusiasm. But so we're not becoming renounced very quick. This experience, people try to follow that path, and it appeared to be harmful. So don't be too fast on that. If there is no false ego, then I'm nobody. Then what should I do? Who am I? I would say, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And then some of the fear also comes, and we need to get rid of the fear. Yes. This is the Maya grasp, the fear. If I get rid of fear, then something would really happen to me. So I'm afraid of getting rid of the fear, because if I have no fear, I would be easy to... I would be all open. So it's a snare, because everything is still mixed. So it's not an easy thing to get rid of things. It's like Jesus Christ was saying that there are some weeds and the wheat. We are only after the wheat. So if you just, you're in the field and you see it's just growing, you might mix it very easily. So you need to wait till it's mature. When our spiritual qualities are mature, we could see which is which. Nowadays, devotees, they use a certain trick. They go to Vṛndāvana to leave the body. What do you think of it? We need to ask Natalia about it. She's from Vṛndāvana. They say you need to leave your body in Vṛndāvana, to get married in Vṛndāvana, to live in Vṛndāvana. There are some details, of course, we might not know. There are some places in the universe with the Leelas of Krishna. They say it's not different from spiritual liberation if you do that in Vṛndāvana. If Krishna is your friend or he is your neighbor, no difference. A sage, is he a Vaiṣṇava? We know that the sages, they don't, Vaishnavas, they don't take the offense. But we know that when Nityananda was harmed, he didn't took the offense.
Это просто мудрец, благость.
The sage in the mode of goodness,
Обычно не проклинает,
he might do
есть
that,
большое
but
но при этом.
Vaishnava,
Сам
he
Вайшнав
would
не
not
проклинает,
take
а
the
другие
offense.
Вайшнавы могут проклясть.
And
Кто
it's
увидел
funny
это
that
прокляшение? Они
a Vaishnava might not take the
свой
offense,
адрес
but the
проклящает,
other
а в адрес других
Vaishnavas
Вайшнавов
might
прощает.
curse
Поэтому
the
тут
one
такое еще.
who is the offender.
Все равно проклятие можно получить от Вайшнава. Косвенно, не от того Вайшнава, который я оскорбил.
So this is how
А
you
других, кто
can get
следует
the
за ним,
curse
скажем, ценит его, видит это.
indirectly.
Это серьезная вещь может быть.
It could be a
Ну, а
serious
обычные
thing.
мудрецы, они, поскольку
But
аскезы
regular
практикуют,
sages and
аскезы практикуют, то
wisers,
они
they
не удерживаются от проклятия.
observe
По этой причине.
the
Причем
austerities,
аскезы идут.
and they might offend you. They might
Например, тот,
curse
кто
you.
Соблюдает целибат, будет с раздражением смотреть на женщин какое-то время.
Like the one who is
Потому что они его,
doing the
Раздражаются.
celibacy,
он гневается.
he might be mad at
Может,
women.
как сказать, что вообще проклятие?
He would say, "Don't approach to me,"
Ну, потому что аскезы.
because he's
это им
taking the
прощается, да.
austerity,
Женщины ведические времена не понимали,
and
что вот
for
брахма,
them it's
совершающая
okay.
аскезы, или в шафране,
Women
близко подходить.
In the Vedic times, they knew that you need not to approach such people.
Так было все устроено, разумно.
It was like that.
То есть аскезы вот такова. Мы не идем путем аскезы, у нас другой путь.
This is the austerity, but we're not following the path of austerity. We have a lot of
Ну,
prasadam.
какая-то аскеза, там 4 принципа, это мы
Some
привыкаем.
austerity, like 4 principles.
Всего 4 принципа.
We're getting used to it very
То есть
easily.
этих 4 только
Just
один
4
принцип,
principles,
который
and one of those
проблематичен.
principles is the
Остальные
problematic
вообще
one. The others are no problem.
Поэтому Вайшнавы не проклинают.
So Vaishnavas do not curse.
Не обязательно, да. не обязательно.
So Rishi is not always a Vaishnava. There are many rishis and sages there, out there.
Да, Атри, Пуластья,
Like
Агастья.
Atri Muni, Pulasya, Agastya.
Описывается в,
There is a description of in Puranas
Махабхарате их
and
много.
Mahabharata.
Тот же Майтрея,
Maitreya,
это великие мудрецы.
they are great sages.
Они все так или иначе как-то причастны к этому.
More or
Но
less
большей
they are
частью мудрец, он не персонален.
engaged into this.
Brahmani.
But usually they are impersonalists. They are
Смешаны.
settled in Brahman.
Когда Прабхупаду спросили
They're
про
mixed.
Тулсидаса,
When someone
известный,
asked
да,
Prabhupada
сам
about
Рамаяна,
Tulasidas,
известный, там, как бы считается
who
Вайшнав.
wrote Ramayana,
Можно ли читать Рамаяну Тулсидаса?
can we read the Ramayana by
Это написал на
Tulasidas?
простонародный язык, известный.
It was
санскрита, чтобы
made
люди читать.
more,
И, возможно, дал какие-то комментарии.
it was
То есть он
adapted
достиг там
to a
какой-то
folk
даршан, даже даршан
language.
получил Господа
He
Рамы.
even got some darshan of Lord Ramachandra.
Но Прабхупада говорит, нет, не
And
читайте
Prabhupada
эту
said,
Рамаяну, не
no,
очень
don't read
благоприятно, потому
from
что
that
она
Ramayana,
с примесью
because
имперсонального.
it is has some influence of
Vaishnava,
impersonalism. He's a Vaishnava, but
Какие-то.
it's a
Он
mixture.
Господь Чайтанья, он пришел, видимо,
And
как
Lord
Вайшнав
Chaitanya, he came as a
высочайшего
Vaishnava, super
уровня, в такой
Vaishnava,
форме,
in this
высочайшего
form,
уровня, чистейшего уровня Вайшнава,
the unalloyed Vaishnava.
личностно. Вот это наша линия.
That is our line.
Чего не было?
There would be not so many leelas if there would be no curses.
Да, без проклятия как жить?
Yeah, there's no way we can live without a curse.
Ну, а мудрецы проклинают, говорится,
It's
благоприятно.
boring.
Да, здесь, видите, всё
But when the
красиво,
sages are cursing you,
Великие
it's
мудрецы, они
it's a
связаны с Богом.
benediction, because they connect you with the Lord. Krishna is very fond of brahmanas.
Можно знать Кришну,
We might know Krishna,
можно быть под его
we
покровительством,
might be under his
но все-таки не быть
supervision,
преданным такого.
but we might not be the unalloyed devotee.
Какой-то преданный. Как-то они
Some
все, как
devotee.
Прабхупада сказал, и индусы, они все
Like
преданные.
Prabhupada said, Hindus are all devotees
Но какие
of
они? Они
Krishna.
разные.
but they're different.
Там смешанные все, но все они преданные. Они
It's a
поклоняются
mixture.
Кришне, все отмечают
They all
Джанмаштами, все, кто бы там ни был в Индии.
Celebrating Janmashtami, all of them in India.
Но при этом у них смешанное с полубогами, и с
But at the
браманом,
same time, they
Параматмой,
worship
чем угодно.
demigods and
Дарида
Paramatma
Нараяна,
and
там, Господь
Daridra
Всевышний.
Narayana, there is there.
А Господь Чайтанья пришел как
And Lord
чистый
Chaitanya
Вайшнава.
came as a pure devotee.
Это редкое явление.
It's very rare.
А так, скажем, в религиозном мире все верят в Бога.
But in the religious world, everybody
Кто не знает Харе
believes,
Кришна мантру? Ну,
have
нет, все.
faith in God. Who doesn't know Hare Krishna mantra? Everybody knows it.
Большое спасибо большое.
Okay, thank you so
Шила
much.
Прабхупада
Shiva
ки
Prabhupada
джай.
ki jai.